have to repeat that again.
Sheila Shannon.
She comes.
Let that principal go right there.
Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Shannon, and I am a professor at the University of Colorado, Denver, in the School of Education and Human Development, where I've taught for 30 years. And over those years, including right now, I have had students who are teachers and administrators in Adams 14, and there's actually some of those students in the room right now. After the testimony and comments made by the community members, teachers, parents, students here tonight, I really don't want to take away any time from having their words and ideas settle into your hearts and minds to think about what's happening here in Adams 14 and to think very deeply and carefully about what needs to happen in Adams 14 to move it away from going back to the past to 2010 when OCR discovered so many problems and violations of human rights in this district that appeared to be occurring again. But I did want to refer to Dr. Bill Hyde's comments from the last board meeting. I was here 2 weeks ago, and I was struck by the detail of your comments, Dr. Hyde, and really how very detailed your questions were about what's going on in the school district. And I was shocked at the end of that meeting that Beyond Textbooks was presented of data coming from whatever they do by Matt Schwartz, who is representing Beyond Textbooks and is also in an administrative position in secondary education. And then there was nothing said. So I just want to refer to a couple of things that Dr. Hyde pointed out. And he said, and I'm reading from his comments that were published, the biliteracy program with benchmark materials was an adoption by the Board of Education directly related to the Office for Civil Rights and the Colorado Department of Education approved turnaround plan. Most perplexing, and this is a quote from Dr. Hyde, of these two adopted curricula by our board is that they are opposed to one another, yet adopted by our board less than 2 years apart, with over $1 million spent on each of the two programs for materials. Just to be clear, the benchmark program is for biliteracy. Beyond Textbooks is English only. And then Dr. Hyde went on to say that he would like to point out the distinction between the Office for Civil Rights mandate for biliteracy education and the duration of the contract with the Bueno Center. He says that Dr. Abrego seems to be confusing the two. Just because, and this is a quote, just because the current contract with the Bueno Center expires at the end of this year does not mean that the district's obligation to the Office for Civil Rights expires as well. In fact, it doesn't. They are separate matters. Rather than fly on our own, we ought to consider extending our contract with Bueno Center. And I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Eva Corona.
Yo digo en español y usted.
Ella la va a traducir.
Okay. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Eva Corona. Estoy aquí porque apoyo estoy muy nerviosa, disculpen.
Good afternoon. My name is Eva Corona, and I'm here, and I apologize. I'm very nervous.
Estoy apoyando el programa bilingüe. Tengo 2 hijos en la escuela Mónaco, uno en la middle school y uno en la high school. Y
I'm here to support the bilingual program. I have a student in Monaco, one in middle school, and one in high school.
y les puedo asegurar que mi niña, la que va en primer grado, tiene una maestra muy buena que le enseña español e inglés y la niña puede interpretar correctamente. Yo no entiendo por qué quieren quitar el programa bilingüe.
And I can tell you that my daughter, who is in first grade, she's in a bilateral class, and she is doing a great job with a really good teacher. She's able to interpret from English to in Spanish in a really good mood.
En otra cosa por la que estoy aquí es por que vengo a hablar de la escuela Mónaco, de la principal. Yo tengo un niño con necesidades especiales y he hablado con esta directora y no me ha dado la ayuda que él necesita.
And the other issue that I have a special needs student who is attending Monaco Elementary School, and I spoke with the principal and I asked for the help that my student needs.
Ya incluso el niño está en plan 504 y no tiene nadie que lo cuide. El niño sufre de epilepsia y tiene problemas con los huesos. Anteriormente, con el principal que estaba anteriormente, me da permiso de acompañar al niño a la clase y de estar con él en el recreo, en el lonche.
My student he's in a 504 plant, and he suffered with epilepsy, and he has nobody who supervises him, and he has a problem with the
Con los huesos.
Tiene
Con
problemas.
los huesos with the bones.
okay, he has problems with his bones.
Ya tuvimos una junta con el distrito, alguien del distrito fue ahí y sigo igual porque no me dieron ninguna respuesta. Me dijeron que los niños, los compañeritos, pueden cuidar al niño. Eso es horrible. Imagínense como mamá.
So we had a meeting at the school level, and a representative from the district came over, and they came up with an agreement. They say that the other students can take care of my son.
Incluso el niño usa pamper. Se acordó en la junta que el niño, la maestra lo tiene que mandar cada hora. El niño llega empapado de pipí a la casa.
So my student needs to use diapers, and he's supposed to be changed every hour, and the student has been coming home totally wet.
Entonces, yo tengo que irlo a cuidar al recreo porque el niño ya ha tenido 2 veces que se ha roto los huesos. Y yo quisiera como mamá estar todo el tiempo ahí, pero la directora no me deja.
And I have to go and supervise him during the recess time because he already had 2 broken bones. But it's really concerning for me because the principal does not allow me to be there.
Y lo que me da más rabia, que me dijo, señora, si usted quiere estar aquí, venga y limpie las mesas para que cuide al niño.
And I'm very upset because the principal told me, ma'am, if you want to be here, you have to clean up the tables in order to be here.
A mí, yo sí con gusto cuido a mi hijo. Por mi hijo sí voy, pero yo no soy su sirvienta de ella.
I will happily go and take care of my son, but I'm not her maid. I'm not her maid.
Y me da mucho coraje. Quisiera que tomaran acciones. La escuela ya no se siente segura. Todos los papás le tienen miedo, porque ella dijo en una junta que ella estudió en un colegio militar. A nosotros, ¿qué nos interesa que haya estudiado en un colegio militar? Nuestros niños no van a estar en un campo militar.
And I'm very concerned about the principal, and many people in the school, many parents, they feel upset or afraid of going to the school. The school doesn't feel safe anymore. And the principal told us that she went to a military school, and they're not supposed to treat us as a military school. We are not supposed to be that way.
Incluso a mi niño no puede digerir, tiene problemas estomacales también. Lo hacen que se coma la comida hasta que no termina. No tiene ni un poquito de recreo porque lo obligan a que se termine la comida.
My son has digestive problems, and he's being forced to finish his meal before he can go out, so he's being forced.
Disculpen, estoy llorando de rabia y de impotencia porque nadie hace nada por nuestra escuela.
And I apologize for being crying, but I feel so frustrated. But nobody's doing anything for the school.
Incluso gente me han dicho, ponle una demanda al distrito, ¿qué estás esperando? A tu hijo lo están tratando muy mal, lo están tratando como basura, como que no vale nada.
And many people recommend me to sue the district because my son is being treated like a trash, like he's not valued to anything.
Les pido por favor que tomen acción, esa directora no es buena.
And I ask you to please take an action. That principal is not good.
Ahora yo no sé. Hay personas que nada más vienen a escuchar aquí para ir y contarle lo que nosotros como padres estamos tratando de hacer por nuestros derechos de padres, por los derechos de nuestros hijos. Nosotros tratamos de hacer lo que sea por nuestros hijos, pero parece como que ella se siente muy segura. Ella cree que ella puede. Y ella ha dicho, no, pues si este maestro no me sirve, yo lo tiro. Los maestros de mis hijos son buenos, enseñan muy bien español e inglés. Y ella nada más lo que quiere es tener poder.
We have many people coming here to listen our concerns and just to listen to the concerns, but the problem here is retaliation, and the principal is not good for the kids, for the families.
Muchas gracias.
So I missed the other part. I missed the last part. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you.
She went on into how intimidating she feels into a lot of the people that come and take the information back to the principal, and she feels that many of the parents that go together to the meetings are retaliated against. So this is going to be like the last time that she's going to be able to speak because of what could happen at the school when she goes back to visit with the principal.
Por último, nada más quisiera que me escucharan. Mi niño va a tener cirugía el día 1 de febrero.
And lastly, I want you to know that my son will have a surgery on February the 1st.
Y la directora no me dice que si va a tener mi hijo ayuda porque él va a usar silla de ruedas.
And the principal is not telling me if my son will get the support that he needs because he will need to use a wheelchair after.
Y ella es una mentirosa porque la trabajadora del Children's ha tratado de hablar con ella y la principal me dice, no, es que no nos ponemos de acuerdo. Cuando ella me habla, yo le regreso la llamada. Y dijo la trabajadora social, nosotros podemos entablar una demanda, pero necesitamos que usted primero hable con el distrito para que les haga saber las cosas que están pasando.
And the principal is such a liar because even the social worker at the children's hospital, she told me that they've been kind of playing phone calls. She's been calling the principal, and the principal says that she called her back. But they told me that to come and explain to you what my concerns are before we move forward with the suing.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Espero que tomen acción.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and I hope you take an action on this.
Nothing's going to happen if she comes and talks again.
Alisa Rodriguez.
Good evening to all of you. My name is Alicia Rodriguez, and I'm a member of PTO and Central. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. Okay. On January 17, we held a DAC meeting where parents and staff had the opportunity to look at 2 different options for the 2018 and 2019 school calendars. Based on the feedback that I received, option A was the most popular, which I liked as well. And my opinion, calendar A needs some changes that we would like to see. November is time of gathering and celebrating families and friends. We would like to ask that you bring back the full week for Thanksgiving break, as these allow families and staff to travel. We are also asking that you consider bringing parents-teacher conferences back, because this is a way that for parents and teachers to meet the teacher and monitor their child growth. We appreciate that the idea of having Fridays for half day instead of Wednesdays. Thank you, and that was all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Deborah, I can't read your last name. I think it's Rauer. I think. Maybe Bauer, maybe. She has a student in Adams City High School. Deborah, are you in the overflow room? No. Ruben Villalobos?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ruben Cruz Villalobos. I am a student at Metro. I graduated from Adams City High School in 2016. When I was in high school, I used to be one of those kids who had low self-esteem and just had all these problems, but I still managed to keep a smile on me. But I always had a big dream, and I never had someone to guide me there. It wasn't until Inspire came into my life and they helped me use my problems to help me just follow my dreams. And I was a kid who had a low GPA in school, and I believe that because of that, even though I was undocumented, I couldn't go into college. I felt that maybe dropping out was a solution, and it wasn't. I talked to Jose Guardiola, who was one of my counselors when I was enrolled in Adams City, and he helped me out. He really showed me another possible solution, and I feel like maybe if I would have just tried harder in school, I would have been in a better position. But that's because Inspire helped me out. I mean, Inspire came into my life when I was a junior in high school. I met Jesse Ramirez, who helped me just use being documented, and really it really helped me, because I feel like having a different problem than others it's usually a barrier. Being undocumented it's a huge barrier. I fear being deported. I've had dreams of being deported, and they just helped me to use that as the fire to keep me going. I managed to get my first year paid for, something I never believed could be achieved, at least me, you know. I never believed in myself in high school, but now I'm able to know where I want to go. I want to be a mechanical engineer. I know I took the longer road, but we all have a road. We all take our time. It's not a race. It's not a race to the finish line. It's about finishing that race, and inspire, help students like me to believe in themselves. You know, and that's something we need. You can't take away something that helps someone. And I mean, just think about that, you know. But thank you.
Thank you very much.
Governing President, is that the end of the comments?
Yes.
I would like permission to make a comment.
Okay.
Thank you. For our community, for the past 6 years, Adams 418 has never achieved a higher rating than priority improvement, which is a D rating. I'm here to say we will surpass that rating by the end of the year if we all work together. That's what we need to do. We all need to work together. I'm promising you that by the end of the school year, we're going to accomplish this. We're going to move forward. I can tell you, the high school will also move forward. But the key thing is, we all have to work together. I am a proud Mexicano. I came to Adams 14, and we will lead the district to excellence. Again, we all have to work together, and I know you want to hear, how are we going to do this? So let me explain what will be taking place in our district. I heard you about the parent-teacher conferences. Changes to the 2017-18 school calendar reflected no parent-teacher conferences. It was poor communication on our part. I will agree to that. Internally and externally, it caused confusion because our vision was for not to have a parent-teacher conference one day, but to have ongoing communication with the parents and the school throughout the year. That's what you wanted. So what kind of actions am I going to take? I'm going to listen to what you say, the parents and community. We also had DAC look at our school calendar. Parents that were here, they made recommendations. I met with members of the union. So my job is to listen. And again, we have to work together. So when you look at the district calendar for this year, you will see that there are parent-teacher conferences. The things that you're saying, we're incorporating into the calendar. We want you to have ongoing. So those are in there. I know that probably one of the hardest decisions, 50% of the people said, we want for Thanksgiving, they liked the fall break, so they said continue that. For Thanksgiving, half the people said, 50% said, let us have off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The other half said just Thursday and Friday. I have to make a decision. My decision based on the other districts, because they all had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off, which caused many of our teachers to stay home or to try to take care of their children. That was a decision I have to make. So I made it. And I know 50% of the people are going to be happy, 50% of people may not. So again, I listened to you, and my recommendation is that we do have the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. That was to improve attendance. So I am listening, and for next year calendar, you will see those parent-teacher conferences in there.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make some comments.
Recess. I'm not done, please. You want answers, you want to know what's going on, you want the action plan, so you have to hear it from me. Recess, again, changes to the elementary instructional day for the 2017.
Disrespectful.
Please, I listened to you, sat here quietly. You want answers. I'm trying to give them to you.
Disrespectful.
Changes to the elementary instructional day for the 2017-18 school year, including repurposing minutes. We added 15 minutes of social emotional learning. Parents were asking for this. We also had to add 30 minutes to reteach and enrich. That was part of our turnaround plan. We had no choice. So that was 45 additional minutes that we had to add. So again, I'm taking the blame. Poor communication on my behalf resulted again in confusion. So how do we remedy this? You know, if we're gonna include recess or physical activity minutes, we have to work together, okay? I did have the DAC membership examine the elementary instructional day and prioritize the day based on the data and the greatest instructional needs. So we've got to move forward, correct? So here's what I plan to do. I've listened to the community. I've read the parent concerns. So I'm going to create a recess advisory committee, representatives from the schools, meet with me, let's get this thing done, provide recommendations, and then we can move forward. So that's how we're going to take care of the recess. There is talk about beyond textbooks, and I just want to explain textbooks to you, and hopefully in simple terms that everyone understands. Beyond textbooks,
Please, if you guys could, please, we listened to your comments, and if you could, just let him finish, and then you can make comments after.
Beyond Textbooks is a resource for educators. It provides educators with a scope and sequence calendar. Basically, all that is for the people, the standards, it tells you when to teach a standard, what standard to teach, and how to assess it. That's all it is. So, again, I'm thankful that we have Beyond Textbooks here because we had to go in front of the state board. Do you want Beyond Textbooks here, or did you want the other plans or consequences the state board can put on us? Closing our schools, taking over our district. We had to make a decision, and so we proposed this to the state board. They approved it. That's why Beyond Textbooks is here. Again, textbooks is here to make sure that after 1 year, when we go back to the state board, that they do not take over our district. We don't want that. I know you don't want that. That's why I continue to say, we must all work together. We all have the same interests. We want the betterment for our students. Last, biliteracy. Biliteracy. Number one is, I have not changed anything to the English language development program. Nothing. So where are we going with biliteracy? Currently, the district has biliteracy program in kindergarten up to 3rd grade. The biliteracy partnership was brought here in 2014 with the help of the Bueno Center from Colorado University. It was a 3-year research study. It was to be conducted at DuPont, Hanson, Kempt, and Monaco. But the district supported the expansion of biliteracy to other elementary schools as a way to serve our ELLs using the same framework. So again, I've heard many comments out there. Dr. Abrego, me, I support bilingual education. The district is not eliminating nor removing biliteracy program in kindergarten up to 3rd grade in our elementary schools. The English Language Development Department serves all K-12 English language learners in Adams 14 through K-3 biliteracy in classrooms, a daily 45-minute English language development block, and a newcomer program at Kearney Middle School. I hear talk that Dr. Brego comes from Arizona. He wants English only. I don't. And when I was in Arizona, I will tell you, I do not believe in English only. Not just do I not believe in English only, they had a 4-hour block mandating that every single ELL student had to have 4-hour block. I don't believe in that. I know that students learn in different manners and at a different pace. So my philosophy is, let's give our English language learners what they need. If they need 1 hour, let's give them 1 hour. If they need 2, 2. We have to give them what they need. So that is what I believe. Again, we want to make sure we have highly qualified teachers, so we have. We're going to continue to recruit, to find teachers with a CLD endorsement. We have to have that because if we're going to serve our ELLs, we have to have highly qualified teachers. They are hard to find. If you want to help us do that because that is what we need. We're going to continue to do that. And again, why is this dividing our district? We all want the same thing. You just heard me say, I want bilingual education. I want biliteracy. I want programs that are going to help our students succeed. So, I'm working with the Colorado Department of Education. We have a new ESSA, Every Student Succeed Act, so now the rules are changing. I don't want to make any errors, so I'm working. I have invited the Colorado Department of Education to come in and say, look, we want to update our program. We want to be in compliance. Help us. Help us be in compliance with the state. Help us be in compliance with federal law. Help us be in compliance with this agreement that everyone says about the OCR. We don't want to do anything wrong. Please help us. So they are coming in here. They're helping us. They're guiding us. Whatever ELD plan we have is not going to be devised by me. It's going to be with the help of them. And we're not going to stop there. People have concerns. The same thing we did with the other recess. Why can't we resolve it? Why can't we just have people from the schools come help me, come help us? Let's get this plan together, make a plan that works. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want? Now, the Bueno Center, you're putting a lot of data out there. I have data. We have data on our kids, on the how biliteracy program worked in our district. We want to share our data with you. We welcome you. Let's work together. The problem is our kids are not reaching proficiency in reading English or Spanish. That's the problem. How are we going to resolve that? We welcome you. We welcome because we have to find out the why. When we find out the why, I know everyone's a biliteracy program. I want a biliteracy program. I want a biliteracy program that works. Has anyone seen our data? Have you seen our data? Doesn't data drive instruction? Don't you want to see how those kids, how it worked out in this study when they were in first grade, second grade, and third grade? They have data. We have data. Let's share it. I'll show you what our data says. Show me what your data says. And again, if things need to be tweaked, let's tweak them together. I want you to have success. I want us to have success. Again, remember the ultimate. What we want here is we want success for all of our students. We just have to keep working together. I don't want English only. I don't want anyone discriminated against. I told people, just the story you heard, that's me. My family were migrant workers. My parents went to third grade. I made it. We want all of our kids to make it. That's what we want. So again, I'm telling you right now, 6 years, the district has never passed beyond D. If you want to do it, work together. That's all we have to do, and we will make it. The district will be out of this consequences with the state. They'll be behind us. We can move forward with what we want. We want to help the high school succeed because they're on the clock too. So let's work together. Isn't this all about helping our kids? All our kids, English language learners, all of our kids. We want highly qualified teachers. People talk about expanding the program to fourth grade. I don't have a problem with expanding the problem of the biliteracy to fourth grade. Do we have teachers that are ready, highly qualified for the fourth grade? Do we have the materials and resources? What does the data say? Are those third graders that were in that study, are they ready to move forward? If they are, let's go. If they're not, let's take a step back and find out why. Why? That's all I want to do. So all the people that are out there saying that I want English only, I do not. I do not. Talabego, say that he's for bilingual, he's for bilingual. I am for bilingual education. We have to give students what they need to learn. They don't all learn in the same way. Again, let's work together. And again, the Bueno Center, we invite you. Let's share data. You can see what our data says, and we'll look at what your data says. We can make decisions in the best interest of students, but we all have to work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hyde?
You didn't address the admin situation. You addressed everything else.
I didn't get the question.
Were your comments from last week, or are you not addressing today's?
I just addressed right now what I heard. And I do want to say, I want to continue to communicate with you. This Thursday, we have board open house. Please come out. We're going to have a superintendent's forum because I know you want to learn about English language development. I've invited you to help us have the best program possible. We're going to do all that.
That was not our question. I said you didn't. You said you're addressing what you heard today. You didn't address any of our comments about administration at our schools. You said you at the high school, all the other schools that are having issues with their principals. You didn't address that.
I will look into that for you, and I'll try to address that the next time. Right now, I was just making comments to clarify all the comments that were coming from the audience that I do not support bilingual education. And with all no disrespect to Dr. Garcia, I've never been an elementary PE teacher, physical education teacher. I'm sorry. My goal, my bucket list, I want to win a state title. I love running. I want to be a cross-country coach. And I want to bring a state title to somewhere. I hope it's Adams 14, but I did take the physical education proficiency so that I could be a licensed PE teacher, but I have never served as a PE teacher in Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am not going to address all of the comments that were made tonight. I have some prepared remarks that I want to share with you that draw upon the CTA meeting that we had last week and upon some of our earlier board meetings. And I'm going to read this to you. If not us, who? If not now, when? What are we waiting for? It's time for our community to think hard about how we want to serve our diverse population. More of the same clearly is not an answer. Adams 14 completed a 5-year turnaround plan, which failed. A series of short-lived, more substantive changes adopted by the board over the past 10 years has resulted in confusion, less consistency, increased inefficiency, and ineffectiveness. A staff that is worn out, demoralized, and afraid for their jobs, and a community frustrated with academic failure. Approximately a year and a half ago, the Adams 14 Board of Education, perhaps panicked by its failing system, rashly hired a self-proclaimed turnaround expert as superintendent. District scores are still rock bottom, though he claims that programs must be given time to work, meaning to advance test scores. He, nor evidently the board, held that position for our already instituted Literacy Squared program of 2 years. Instead, Beyond Textbooks, which is English only, was brought into Adams 14, introducing another sharp turn in the direction of our curriculum. The superintendent now claims there has not been enough time to see progressive results, without acknowledging that he didn't allow Literacy Squared enough time to see results. Each time we introduce a big curricular change, thinking that it's going to fix everything, we pour millions of dollars into, thinking that it's going to fix everything, we pour millions of dollars into a program only to kick it aside a year or two later and try something else. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, every school system's key asset is its teachers. Of course, we need technology as a tool to help, but supporting teachers should be a key task of the administration. It is a shame that we need reminding, but as a district that claims to be data-driven, I will mention that OECD, that stands for the Office of Educational and Cultural Development, it's a branch of UNESCO and United Nations. Their data shows that the second most important attribute of a good educational system is an administration that supports its teaching staff. The cost to the district of jumping from one approach to another is more uncertainty, more confusion, a downturn in morale, and a reduction of the big three: open communications, transparency, and accountability. This type of decision-making belies an underlying difficulty of the board to see past quick fixes. As evidence of the superintendent's style of leadership, at last week's CTA meeting, teachers said that they have been told by their principals not to attend board meetings and not to talk to board members. The superintendent says that they need to respect the chain of command. That assumes the chain is functional, but it's not. That's when it is the board's job to intervene. This is not micromanaging. It is reasserting a strategic imperative that was laid out a long time ago by this board: improving communications internally and externally. The board has an obligation to intervene as much as is necessary to insist that the superintendent addresses those imperatives more effectively than it has been in the past, and of course to the board's satisfaction. Our kids in our school district deserve no less. I think the superintendent and the board have it wrong when it comes to organizational structure. The analogy is often made of a military chain of command. I prefer to think of it as a fishing line when we should be designing a fishing net. Obviously, a fishing line has everyone in a strict, straight line, whereas a net contains multiple intersections of connectivity that is highly decentralized. To push the analogy a bit further, consider the vulnerability and fragility of a fishing line. A line catches one fish, a net catches many. Furthermore, if the line breaks, you are left with nothing. If the net has a hole in it, it still functions. We are a diverse community, and we need a decentralized system to deal with our diversity. On 2 counts, I object to the superintendent's reasoning regarding the view he holds of the board's necessary detachment from details, citing the guise of micromanaging. For the board to remain disconnected from what is going on in the schools is foolish. Even if the chain of command were working as it should, board members have an obligation to inspect up and down the line. The analogy is that every good general respects the chain of command, but also visits the troops in the trenches. Make no mistake about it, the Board of Education is the command center, the superintendent is not. Information is not flowing up, nor is it flowing smoothly. We have a major problem when our superintendent squashes board access to information. If the superintendent is not claiming that the community needs to respect the chain of command, he is stating that an issue needs to be resolved at the lowest administrative level possible. But putting personnel on administrative leave is not a valid means for addressing criticism. Threatening teachers with discipline or removal does not promote retention. The board has a duty to intervene. Again, it is not micromanaging. It is reasserting the strategic imperatives that have long been laid down by the board. I will propose on an ongoing basis motions that address different aspects of the big three: good communications, accountability, and transparency. For instance, I will in the near future offer motions that the board give specific instructions to the superintendent, which will be designed to gain back the trust of the rank and file of district employees. Employees should feel free to offer feedback to the school and district administration, including the board, without fear of being reprimanded, punished, or threatened. The second basis for my objection regarding the superintendent's comment at the CTA board members meeting is that his statement about a board member needing to recuse herself or himself from an issue brought to them by anyone, a community member, classified staff, a teacher, a principal, or an administrator, is misleading and misrepresentative. Let's review the definition of recuse. Quote, to withdraw from a position of judging because of prejudice or personal interest, unquote. Just because I receive information about a particular situation before the rest of the board or the superintendent does not automatically prejudice me. So I reject that line of argumentation. The strategic imperative of the board for improving communications internally and externally has fallen on deaf ears. During the superintendent's time with Adams 14, the condition of the big three have worsened, and he is not able to wash his hands of what his principals do. He is responsible for them. It is not micromanaging to tell the superintendent of these glaring errors when he ignores them at seemingly all turns. I would encourage the superintendent in the remaining year and a half of his contract to focus on restoring morale and improving communication, transparency, and accountability. That would go a long ways toward promoting retention of teachers, which would probably raise student scores as much as any particular curriculum. If I dare rely upon one statistic from the infamous UIP report, whether it's a plan in progress or just a report on current data, our students are hovering around the 10th percentile on almost all measurements. When scores turn upwards for a year by a mere fraction of a percentage point, it is neither cause for celebration nor a claim that the district is progressing toward turnaround. In reality, it is just one more bauble in a long string of baubles. Consider this. If scores were to increase by 2 percentage points every year, which they haven't, it would take 20 years just to reach the state average. And the Colorado state average, by the way, is well below the national average. It is ridiculous for the district to be talking about all students excelling in all subject areas, which is what the UIP posits, when under the best below average scenario, approaching average in reading, writing, and math is decades away from happening under current projections. We're talking about 2038 and beyond. I believe it's time to buckle down. In the next year and a half, we should insist on the superintendent adhering to the original in compliance OCR agreement, lending consistency to the plans the board adopted just 2 years ago, providing stability to the district, and mending relations through promotion of the big three. A priority for me will be to advocate for improving the big three. Let's get started. On Saturday, February 3rd, I have scheduled a community workshop for everyone who is interested in exploring ways to improve communications in Adams 14. You are all invited. Just to be clear, I am doing this as a board member who wants a dynamic educational system for our community. I am not acting on behalf of the board. All members, of course, of the board are invited to attend as well, but it is not a board meeting. And of course, it is an open public forum. If you haven't gotten a dark pink flyer with the information on it, please be sure to pick up one in the hallway on your way out. This is what I'm referring to. The format for the workshop will be simple. Bring your ideas about how to improve communications among your colleagues, between teachers and administrators, between parents and school staff, between students and parents. I believe we stop damaging rumors and mend trust among all stakeholders by having open communications. So mark your calendars for Saturday, February the 3rd, from 10 to noon at the Commerce City Anythink Library on the corner of 72nd and Monaco, right across the street from Lester Arnold High School. Bring your best thinking with you. Leave your gripes for another time. I hold open the possibility of additional workshops on topics such as testing, grading, feedback loops, retention, and accountability. Eventually, I welcome workshops that address structural ideas for our district, but first we need to build an open, healthy base of support. Remember, we the public get the leaders we deserve. We have only ourselves to blame if we don't. The same is true for our schools. We get what we collectively deserve. If we want something better, we need to take control and make it happen. Complaining may bring short-term relief, but it won't get us to where we want to be. That part is up to us. We must show up, work tirelessly, and do it. Thank you.
Last week, the Board of Education met with the CTA, and the CTA put out on the boards different questions, and that's what Dr. Hart is referring to. I'm going to read mine, too, because they put us on the spot for us to read it. First, I would like to thank the CTA for meeting with the Board of Education. I strongly feel we should have these meetings every 3 months, November, February, and May, throughout the school year. This will allow us to work together as a team to unite the Board of Education administration and the CTA. This will hopefully allow teachers to be a voice and provide their input, feel like they are valued, and be involved in administration decisions. I want all teachers to feel like they can be heard by the administration, not intimidated or bullied according to board policy. I feel like administration wants them to succeed instead of fail. I want all teachers to feel that professional development is encouraged, and teachers will not have to pay to attend professional development programs. This should come out the general fund budget, and all district administrators should look for and encourage programs for professional development for teachers. I would like to propose that all district administrators look for programs for their teachers and present it to the Board of Education. I encourage each school to provide with an anonymous suggestion box that all district facilities where anyone can inform the administration how can we improve the district. Bullying per board policy, ACA, states, the Board of Education and the superintendent is committed to providing and will take action to enforce and secure work environment for all employees free of bullying. I will not tolerate any behavior in the workplace that constitute bullying activity as defined in this policy. I want to encourage any district employee to speak up and report it immediately. I strongly encourage the teachers' evaluate be conducted correctly per board policy, ECOA-R. Per the policy, they are to be conducted in accordance with state law and board policy to improve instruction, enhance the implementation of programs in the curriculum, and measure the professional growth and development of personnel and level of performance of each licensed employee. In conclusion, I believe our teachers, the district, and our students, I would love to maintain guidance for our teachers. I would like to implement practice to retain our teachers. And I'll go to this. April 25, 2007, survey findings from Metro State University, Dr. Marcella Pera. Survey findings from Metro State University, Western Education Equality Assistance Center presentation. Dr. Marcella Pera reviewed in detail the school and workplace climate survey that was conducted as part of the Office of Civil Rights Agreement. On May 9, 2017, the Equity Assistance Center survey findings and recommendation, it was a consensus of the Board of Education to receive updates on the OCR compliance, and where we were the recommendations of the Equity Assistance Center. So, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll bring this up, that we, the Board of Education Superintendent, would like to get a copy at the next board meeting of the OCR compliance report. Also, the Board of Education did do a consensus. We would like to see all the implementations that was approved by this board on May 9, 2007 at the next board meeting. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Nope, I think they spoke enough.
Moving to routine items, consent items number 1, superintendent's recommendation, personnel. Can I get a motion?
Who wants to leave?
Oh, if anybody wants to leave before we move on with the board meeting, now would be a good time. If not, you want to stay, you're welcome to stay.
I got this.
No. No, I still have some.
Somebody should, because there sure is.
Sure. Hey.
If you wonder, I know you look like you look at stuff.
There was no more. There's lemonade.
I'm fine. Swallow.
Tell you, this guy.
Some of them seem
Boys.
What'd you say?
I don't think anyone knows.
I'll get on 911 right now. Steal a seat from you. You're welcome, sir. That wasn't meant to be. It's too hot.
Can we bring this back to order, please? Routine items, consent item number 1, personnel. Can I get a motion for approval, please?
Moved it, personnel actions. So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Aye. Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Number 3, business item. Grant. Superintendent recommendation, approval to apply for funding from the Colorado Department of Education's Building Excellent Schools Today program grant. Need a motion for approval, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Aye. Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item 2.0, resolution number 18-002, authorizing the use of a portion of the beginning fund balance and appropriation resolution.
Whereas Senate Bill 03-149 was passed in legislative year 2003 to amend the school district budget law to ensure that any adopted budget as of July 1, 2003 or after shall not provide for expenditures, interfund transfers, or reserves in excess of available revenues and beginning fund balances. And whereas if the budget includes the use of a beginning fund balance, the school district board of education shall adopt a resolution specifically authorizing the use of a portion of the beginning fund balance in the school district's budget. And whereas there is an increase of $328,974 in the use of beginning fund balance from the 2017-18 originally adopted budget, and an increase of $336,722 in appropriations for new revenue from settlements received for a total of $665,696 additional capital reserve appropriations. Note $328,974 includes previous capital projects already appropriated by this board. And whereas the Board of Education and the administrative staff of Adams County School District 14 of Adams County and the state of Colorado has duly adopted official budgets for the ensuing fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018, as required by law, and whereas future year budget adjustments that are hereby recommended to the Board of Education ensured that the use of the beginning fund balance and the capital projects fund will not lead to an ongoing deficit, and whereas the original fiscal year 2017-18 budgets were adopted June 13th, 2017, and whereas Colorado Revised State Statute 22-44-110 provides that after the adoption of the budget, the Board of Education may review and change the budget with respect to both revenues and expenditures at any time prior to January 31 of the fiscal year for which the budget was adopted, and the purpose of the expenditures is to cover current operating expenditures and carryover projects from the 2016-2017 budget. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of Adams County School District 14 approves the use of the above stated amounts of the beginning capital projects fund balance to provide for the funding source for increased operating costs to be incurred in fiscal year 2017-2018 carryover projects, with the provision that subsequent years adjustments may be made to assure that a deficit will not occur in these funds. And now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of Adams County School District 14 in Adams County and the state of Colorado that the amended amounts of the following schedule be appropriated to the fund as specified in the amended adopted budget for the ensuing fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018. And those numbers are on the screen before you. Adopted and approved this 23rd day of January 2018.
Thank you. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Aye. Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item 3.0, other, superintendent's recommendation. Approval of an in-state travel to Colorado Springs, Colorado by Monaco elementary music teacher on January the 25th through the 27th, 2018. Can I get a motion for approval?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item number 3.3, superintendent's recommendation approval, let me back up. 3.2, superintendent's recommendation, approval of an in-state travel to Colorado Springs, Colorado for the state DECA competition on February the 24th through the 26th, 2018.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item 3.3, superintendent's recommendation, approval to support contracts for pathway implementation grant. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Superintendent's recommendation, approval for Adams City High School to contract with Inspire. Can I get a motion to,
So, I motion.
Second.
any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item 3.5. Business item 3.5, superintendent's recommendation, approval of the 2018-2019 student calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item 3.6, superintendent's recommendation, approval to renew ILOCA Incorporated contract for fiscal year 2018-2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Business item 3.7, superintendent's recommendation, approval of out-of-state travel to Anniston, Alabama, I think that's Alabama, by one student and one chaperone to attend the Marine Corps three-position air rifle service championship from February 16th through the 18th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Monica, please.
Mr. Archuleta?
Aye.
Dr. Hyde?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Mr. Rolla?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
So that moves us into discussion. Board study sessions, Thursday prior to the regular Board of Education meetings. I'm proposing that we have a work study session the Thursday before the board meeting to go over all of the business that we have to come before us and ask our questions at that point in time, so that way maybe some of those questions can be answered prior to us getting to the dais and acting on some of these, so we can get all of our questions answered about what the proposals may be. So it's my proposal that the Board of Education meets prior to the Board of Education meeting to go over some of those items.
Mr. Chairman, is that a motion that you're making?
No, I'm having discussion with everybody because I think it's a good way of doing business, my own opinion, to have all the information prior to the board meeting, so that way you're not looking through your packet, having to look and read, make sure you're up to speed with everything. We have that done prior to the Board of Education meeting.
Would there be an opportunity to have any type of in-depth study or, can we dig into any of the issues there? Or
Yes,
are we
that's-
just?
that's what I'm-
So
that's what I'm
it's
asking
half,
for.
it's half clarification and half study session, is that right?
Yes.
And what time were you thinking of having it?
That's up to the board.
Okay.
I can make myself available whatever time is convenient for everybody.
I think most of us are
Retired.
semi-retired, except for one of our directors to my right. And so I think we ought to give consideration to his schedule.
4:30 is good for me.
So can I have a consensus from everybody? Do we want to do that? Is it a bad idea?
So we would do that. That would be a standing 4:30 meeting.
Yes.
And that would
It's an open meeting.
That would go for a half hour or an hour.
However long it takes.
And assuming that we don't have executive session.
No, this is just a.
This is
not
on
the board meeting.
Thursday. This is Thursdays before. Okay.
Yes.
At 4:30. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
I actually got the idea from one of our council members that that's how city council does business. And I think it's a good way of doing business. That way we can have all of our questions answered prior to us getting to the dais and having to answer some questions
So that
here.
there would never be any motions made. It's just it's open to the public, and we just discuss, ask our questions, and so we all have the benefit of everybody's input.
Right, you have.
Sounds good.
You have your. I'm
Sounds
not
good.
going to ask anybody to vote at that point in time because all of our voting is done here on the dais at
Right.
in front of the public. So
But am I correct? It's a board work study, not
it's a community. If the community wants to come and attend our study session.
I'm not saying they can't attend, but their input is not.
No, it's about the business that we have in front of us as the Board of Education. But they can come and listen and hear what's going on.
Because it's a work study, but
Mhm.
they don't have an input.
Right. So can I have a consensus?
I think we should put a 2-hour time limit. Otherwise, when you have a work study, you could be here for 5-6 hours. But I think we should focus, that way, sometimes some of the comments are just repeat over and over and over, and this way we keep it and say, 4:30, 6:30.
I'm okay with whatever time anybody wants to do it.
I suppose if there's an issue that's so burning with some of our members, there's nothing that that prevents any of us leaving.
No.
So since we're not talking about a quorum, we're not talking about roll call.
No.
So if somebody gets burned out after 2 hours, they're free to leave.
I think it would do a lot. I would go a lot toward getting some of our meetings to move along a little bit faster if we have that discussion prior to getting here. I'm not asking you how to vote. I'm not asking you to vote a certain way. I just want to have discussion about some of these travels, some of this other stuff that we spend the taxpayer money on prior to our board meeting.
I'm for it.
Mr. Thomas, 4:30?
Yes.
What about 4:30 to 6:30? We okay with that? If it lasts longer, we can make it last longer, and if anybody has to leave, they can leave. Pretty plain and simple. Thank you. Communications General. Yes, sir.
Yes, Board President, I have to read an expulsion into the record, so I would like to do that at this time.
Okay.
Notify the board that student number 1091243 is the expulsion notification.
Okay, so under my communication, we have a joint meeting with the City of Commerce City Council, Monday, January the 31st at 6 o'clock at the Civic Center, if we can all make it. It's the 31st of January, Monday.
Time.
No, Monday is not.
Monday, January the 31st at 6 o'clock p.m.
Oh, they have the wrong date.
Oh, that's
It's
the
the
wrong date.
29th.
What?
It's the 29th?
Yeah.
Is this the, this is, could you repeat what you said, please?
We have a joint meeting with the City of Commerce City Council on Monday, January the 29th at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Civic Center.
Just
Thank
to
you.
inform Dr. Hyde, every month that we have a fifth week, that's when we meet with the city council. And they'll host, and I think it's our turn to host, right?
No, it's their turn this
Their
time.
turn to host.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So then also, City Council has reached out again. We had an Education Commission representative for the City of Commerce City. Unfortunate circumstances, he was not reelected. We need to fill a seat. Is anybody interested in being on the Education Commission representative? I was selected to that. We had two of them at that time. I would still like to be a representative to that, but we do need another member.
This is, I'm having a hard time. Maybe it's too late for me tonight. This is to represent the board, to an ambassador from the board to the council?
Yes, and their Education Commission.
Yes, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So then I have, please make arrangements to plan accordingly to attend the Board of Education Professional Development on Wednesday, February the 28th from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. That was that meeting that we had scheduled for December, but it got canceled for various reasons. This is the date that we can do it on, that they can come and do professional educational development for the Board of Education.
What day was that again, Timmy?
That's February the 28th from 1 o'clock p.m. till 6 o'clock p.m.
Will we get more information on that meeting as we get closer to the date?
Yes, it's going to be with CASB, CDE, and SISDIP. They've all confirmed that they can be here at that time. So then I would also like to request a joint meeting with CTA to provide responses that were requested from us. I think, as Harvest said, we should have these conversations all the time. So I'm looking for a date from CTA as to when we can make that meeting happen again.
When? What month?
That's up to you, whenever you want it.
February 20th?
February the 20th. How's that look for everybody's calendars? You have a time?
Since middle schools are teaching until about 4:15, I would say, or 4:20, I'd say 4:30.
Is that going to give everybody enough time to get here if they need to? 4:30? Does that work for everybody? That work for you, Harvest?
Yes.
How about you, Mr. Rolla? How about you, Dr. Hyde?
I think it's fine.
Ms. Quintana?
Whatever you say.
I'd also like to thank everybody for staying and participating with the Board of Education. It's very enlightening to hear, especially the students' responses. I enjoy that a lot. Thank you for coming and participating. But I would also like to make the comment that, you know, we do owe each other respect when we're at these meetings. And sometimes we're kind of disrespectful. We do allow everybody an opportunity to talk, and I'm the type of person that I'm not going to put a time limit on you, although I ask you to finish within 3 minutes. But if you have more to say, I let you go over. I keep getting elbows and nudges. We're over time, and we try to do that so we can move the meeting along a little bit faster. I know that we have school tomorrow. I know that, you know, there's a lot of things going on in people's lives, and I appreciate the fact that you stay here and you continue to participate. I appreciate that. I can't speak for the rest of the board, but I appreciate you being here, and I take to heart and I listen to everything you have to say. Some of the things we can fix, some of the things we can't fix, but I will tell you, we're going to continue fixing what's broken. So thank you all for coming.
Dr. Abrego, this is for you. My question is, when is your staff is going to present the Board of Education budget, a purpose of additionals and a purpose of reductions?
Can you just ask that one more time? I'm not quite sure what you need.
When is your staff going to present a budget, a pre-budget to the Board of Education?
Are you saying the second semester we have our schools do their needs analysis, like how many teachers they're going to have, they're going to need, they complete their budgets, all schools do that, they forward them to the HR. I think HR meets with them.
The purpose of it is because Denver has 92,000 students. We have 7,500, and they superintendent presented a budget to them so they can start working on it, and that was January the 12th. Now I'm trying to figure out, if we only got 7,500 students, how come we can't have a budget right now so we can start working on it and don't be rushed to us in the last minute? Because 2 years in a row it's been rushed to the Board of Education and we had to vote on something. And right now I think we're at the point where the teachers, the CTA, and different facilities know what they need. It's not a matter about teachers and this and that, and I'm really upset that we have to come to a board meeting to hear about counselors for seniors not at the high school. That is unacceptable. So I don't know. I'm not sitting up here to get applauses and all that. I'm sitting up here for right and what's ethical right and what's moral right. These students should have this, and I don't know. And I like to, when they get one, I would like for the Board of Education to be notified as soon as possible, because they future, they look at us. We had them to walk out last year. Now they don't have counselors. Now, if somebody didn't hear that on this diocese or in this audience of people watching, it's unacceptable. So I'm asking the superintendent for two things, Board President. Present the Board of Education with a proposal, a budget proposal, and I'm sure they can do it. And when is the seniors going to get a counselor at the high school? Thank you. Yes.
Didn't we get that before Ms. Rotella left?
No, we
and
didn't.
Then we could appropriate it if we needed more by the end of January?
No, the budget would be for 18-19, Ms. Quintana, not this right here. This budget, it should goes for what the teacher needs, what the student, what the teacher, what each building gonna need, facilities, if I'm not mistaken, capital improvement items. We need a budget to be presented to the board as soon as possible, and teachers not waiting a month, 2 months, and then next thing you know, you're throwing it in our face. No, it shouldn't work like that. And I'm requesting that your staff present the Board of Education with a 18-19 budget. And when the students get their counselors, we should be notified that they got one in the building. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? So there is a need for us to go back into executive session under CRS 246402-4E, contract negotiations, discuss pending contracts. We didn't get to finish our work, so with that, we will come out and adjourn when we're done with that, but I don't see any other business happening. Legal advice also? Okay, so we also have to go back under CRS 246402-4 parentheses B, legal advice, board to conference with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific matters. So when we come out, we'll just adjourn. We won't take any action at that point in time. So if you want to stick around, you're welcome to stick around. We're going to be in executive session for a little while, but the meeting is pretty much over. We'll just come back out and adjourn. So with that, thank you again for coming and participating.